Hi everyone, good morning. Today is 7th of February and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of Hindu. Also, we are going to discuss the other important articles in other newspapers also. Also, I would like to tell you that in this particular session, we are going to cover all these particular articles for mains examination, that is Kerala's federal dispute, fiscal federalism and related issues, delimitation exercise, and SC subcategorization. And for prelims examination, find these articles we are going to discuss. And for mapping, today we are going to cover Sri Lanka. So that is about the coverage. However, along with that, we are also going to discuss the current affair based MCQ questions. Then also we are going to discuss the quotation for our mains and essay examination. So let's get started for this particular session, and you can download this entire notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now let's get started with it. Now, first of all, MCQ questions, and guys, please try to ensure that you are attempting these particular questions every day and you are leaving your correct answer in the comment box. So, first question for today is, which of the following infections come from fungal infection? Athlete's foot, HIV, ringworm, Candida auris. So, we have discussed. Fine. Please identify the right answer and leave your answer in comment box. Then moving on, guys, after that, next question is, which of the following conditions are necessary for hydrothermal systems to occur? Vertical fluidic movement, depth of not more than 20 km, heat, permeability through the rocks. So choose the correct option and leave your answer in the comment box. We have discussed this also. Consider the following statement with respect to Swachh Bharat Mission. Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation under the Ministry of Jal Shakti is nodal implementing agency. Include biodegradable waste, include grey water management. So choose your right option and leave it in the comment box. And now the yesterday's questions and their answer. Weed blast was recently news. What is the primary cause of it? So we have seen that it is because of the fungal infection that it is there. Then next is the consider following statement with respect to plastic credit bonds. Now, plastic credit bond refer to a financial instrument linking waste and financing plastic projects. Plastic bonds were an outcome of Kyoto Protocol. So choose the correct option. So correct option is 1, that they are the financial instrument linking waste and financing plastic project. Kyoto Protocol was not there. Fine. So correct option is 1 only. Then moving to the next after this. So we have this question. Consider the following with respect to neural link recently in the news. So we have seen that it aims to help control phones or computer through thought. It has to be ingested orally. So the right option is 1. It aims to help computers, phone and other devices through your thoughts. Now it is not ingested orally, rather it is inserted through implants in the brain. So right option is 1 only, that is A. Now moving on, and let's discuss the articles for the today. Now every class we guys take a GS quotation. Now today we are going to take quotation from the former president of India, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India. Now Dr. Kalam says, learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. So the knowledge, fine, it starts from learning, which gives us creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that education and knowledge, fine, education and knowledge are not the same. Literacy and education are not the same. Now when we talk about literacy, literacy is just knowing of the fact. Application of that particular that knowability in the real application leads to the knowledge, and that particular knowledge makes you great. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 2, education and related issues. Now moving on, and let's take the first article for today. So first article guys that we are going to take is understanding the delimitation exercise. Now this particular article we are going to discuss with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to polity. Now guys, basically from past few days, this delimitation issue is coming in the news. New delimitation that is set to be there in 2026. It has actually worried lot of South Indian states. So let's understand that what is this entire issue is all about. So basically guys, when we talk about the delimitation of constituency, It is based on a very simple idea, and the idea is that, now see, when we talk about, guys, India, for the sake of governance, entire country is divided in constituency. Entire country is divided in constituency, and every constituency is represented by one particular member. We have a member of parliament, which we have member of parliaments, we have the members of the state legislative assembly. So for the purpose of the parliamentary for the purpose of the parliament, we divide country in constituencies, and same for the matter of the SLAs also, we divide the state into the constituency. Now the idea is very simple. Let's see, we should divide constituency in such manner that every representative is representing the similar number of people. Every representative is representing the similar number of people. Suppose there is an area which is sparsely populated, so over a bigger area there will be one representative. If our area is very densely, tightly populated, that over a small area there will be one representative. So one representative should represent equal or similar number of people. Now understand this thing, that after some time the population is changing. After every census, population is changing. So these constituencies are to be revised. Some areas population will go up, some areas population go down. So constituencies are to be revised again and again so that parity is maintained. Now let's understand this particular thing with the help of some data. So basically, guys, when we talk about the number of seats in Lok Sabha, fine, in 1951 was 494. As population increased, Lok Sabha's seat in 1961 increased to 522. Further, as population is increased, in 1971 census, Lok Sabha's seat were increased to 543 that we have. Now, guys, if we see the average population, now understand, per seat, per representative in Lok Sabha, representative 7.3 lakh people, then 8.4 lakh people, and then in 1971 census, after that, at every 10.1 lakh people there was one MP that was there. Okay, so these constituencies are revised. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the delimitation, okay, so basically Article 82 and 170 is there in the constitution, which provides that number of seats in Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly, fine, are to be divided in territorial constituencies, and these territorial constituencies are to be readjusted after every census. So Article 82 talks about Parliament, and Article 170 talks about SLA. So constituency should be there and they should be readjusted. Now who does this readjustment? This readjustment is done by delimitation commission. It is done by delimitation commission. Now this delimitation commission, it is set up under an act of parliament, and we had a delimitation commission 1951, 61, 71. Okay, now understand this particular thing, guys, that after 1971 census, we actually have not carried any delimitation. Now you see this particular thing, that 1970s was the time when population explosion was going on in India. Population was increasing very rapidly. So it was frozen. Why it was frozen? It was frozen because, see, there was the population control measures were being taken up. And see, certain states population was going up. Now if you see, more populous state will have more seats. So basically here a state is increasing population and they are getting more seats in parliament also. It will encourage states to not to control the population. So in order to bring the population control measures, this particular process was frozen. Initially, delimitation was frozen by 42nd Amendment Act till 2000, fine, till the 2000. However, after 84th Constitutional Amendment Act, this freeze was extended to 2026, and now in 2026 it is going to get revised. Okay, now in 2026 it is going to get revised. Now guys, understand this thing, that however what has happened after 1970s, population growth of India has not been even. We find this particular thing, that in last 50 years, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, their population has increased greatly. Whereas the states such as Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, their population has not increased that much. Now, right now, guys, there are two options that are coming. Option number one is to continue with the existing number of seats, that is 543 seats. Other option is to increase the number of seats to 848, given the increase that has happened in population. Increase it to 848. Now guys, in this capacity, we find this particular thing, that if we went to option number 2, there will be a lot of benefit that will come to North Indian states. Now guys, you see this particular thing. Here we have this table. If we go to 848, presently UP has 80 seats, it will go to 143 seats. Bihar has 40 seats, it will go to 79 seats. Okay, you see their seats are getting doubled up. Now, on other hand, we have Kerala. Kerala has 20 seats. It will just stay 20. Okay, Karnataka, for example, has 28 seats. It will just marginally go up, that is 41. So South Indian states, particularly if you see the Kerala will not see any change. Similarly, Himachal Pradesh will also not see any change. Their 4 seats will stay 4. But UP, their seats and Bihar's seats are increasing so much. So North Indian state will get more powers. North Indian states will get more seats in parliament. This is something that has happened, and it has been said that states particularly such as Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kerala, they will be at a disadvantage. So what should be done? This particular issue is right now going on. Now, up till now, there is no clarification from the union government that what they are going to do, how they are going to resolve this issue. But there are certain case studies that we can see too. We have here the case study of European Union first of all. Now, when we talk about European Union, how it deals with this particular matter. Now, there is European Union Parliament, EU Parliament. Now, European Union Parliament has 720 members, okay, across the European Union member countries. Now, what they do, they follow the principle of digressive proportionality. Now, what is this digressive proportionality? Now, see this particular thing. Let's see, every country's population will go up, but their ratios will decline. Now, you see this particular thing. For example, Denmark, they have population of around 60 lakh and they have 15 seats in European Union Parliament. Germany, their population is 8.3 crore and they have 96 seats. Now, you see this particular thing, that in Germany, over 8.6 lakh people, there is one representative. But when we talk about Denmark, just over 4 lakh people, there is one representation. Now in Germany, 8.6 lakh people, over them one representative, and in Denmark, over 4 lakh people, one representative. So as Germany's population has went down, fine, their ratios have come, as Germany's population has went up, their ratios have come down. So this is something that is provided so that more populous states don't get a lot of advantage. Okay, This is something that is to be done. Also, guys, we need to rethink this particular entire situation. Now, when we talk about the member of parliament, their main duty or their main role is to legislate on the matters mentioned in the union list, such as defense, external affairs, railways, telecommunication, taxation, etc. Okay, and actually what they do, they hold the central government accountable. Fine, but other majority of work, fine, is in the state legislative assembly also. Fine, state legislative assembly legislates onto the state list. Okay, now understand this particular thing. It has been said that what we can do at the parliament level, we should not change the seats. We should keep them unchanged at 543. But at the level of state legislative assembly, we can increase them in line with the current population. Okay, so we should follow this particular middle path. At parliament, keep it same so that no more disadvantage comes. But at SLA, we can change it. Okay, however, within SLA, as internal change will happen, and as it will not have any external repercussion, we can solve this particular matter amicably. So this is, guys, all about this particular issue. Fine. Then moving to next, the severe erosion of fiscal federalism. We are going to see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2. Fine, GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 3. Federal issues and the public finance. Now, understand this particular thing, guys. Let's see, there are certain issues that is going on between the union and the states. these particular issues pertain on large number of issues. Okay, for example, guys, particularly the states, they have this issue that states which are being ruled by the different political parties, their governor's position is being used to subvert the role of states. This is one issue that is going on. Other issue that is being going on is that center often interferes too much into the matters of the state. For example, recently what happened, Punjab, West Bengal, they had a problem that BSF's jurisdiction was increased. Then there is one more issue on finance part that has also emerged. Now guys, understand this particular thing. So much of confrontation and disputes are coming between union and states. So therefore, one particular word has become popularized in the last few years, that is confrontational federalism. Fine, confrontational federalism. Okay, combative federalism. Fine. Where union and the states are at loggerheads, where they have some disputes between them. Now, there is one more issue that has come here, and here we are going to discuss the issue of Kerala. So basically what has happened, Kerala Chief Minister has decided to protest in New Delhi against the center government's policy, where the Kerala government says that they are being held under embargo. Certain limitations, certain bans are being imposed on them in terms of the money that they can raise for their developmental issue. Now, why and what is happening, we are going to understand. So basically, guys, what the center is now pushing? Center is pushing now the net borrowing ceiling limit on the states. Net borrowing ceiling limits on the state. Now, what is this entire issue? Guys, basically, what has happened? Now, basically, union has provided this thing that states, if they have some pending loan with the central government, if they have borrowed some money from the central government, and if they have not returned that entire money to the central government, they cannot raise new money. They cannot borrow more money. This is something that has imposed. So, what is this? What is this net borrowing ceiling? What is this net borrowing ceiling? It limits the borrowing of states from all the sources, including open market borrowing. Fine. And on whose states this particular net borrowing ceiling is imposed? On those states which have taken already the loan and has not returned that particular loan. Now, central government says that we can impose this net borrowing ceiling on the state by the virtue of Article 293 of the Indian Constitution, which gives the power to the central government. Now, Kerala government had said that we will protest this particular matter in the Supreme Court. Now, what are the Kerala government's issues? Let's understand this particular thing. Now, basically, what has happened? What has happened? Kerala government says this particular thing. Kerala government says this particular thing that, first of all, state PSUs, state enterprises, state PSUs that are there, they have also taken the loan. Even their loan is being considered under the NBC limit, under the net NBC limit. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Particularly, this particular matter pertains to, okay, the issue is with respect to the KIIFB, Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board. Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board. Now, this particular body has borrowed a lot of money, particularly for the infrastructure projects. Okay. Now, this particular money that the KIIFB has been borrowed, it is also being included into the state's borrowing. Okay. And Kerala government is not being allowed to raise more money because their KIIFB has raised the money. Now, what has happened? Kerala government says this particular thing. That why you are also including the debt of state-owned enterprises into the NBC. This is unfair. Fine, that should not be done. Also, guys, what has happened? The other balances in the public account of the state should also not be included. Now, guys, if you have followed the budget video, you have already seen that we have discussed the Consolidated Fund of India, which is the main fund where all the receipts and payments are made from. State, similarly, there is the public account. Public account is that particular account. In which the money which is being held by the government on the behalf of the public, it is kept. For example, let's say there is some money in the pension fund. Now this money is right now with the government, but government has to give it back to the people. So that money will be held in public account. So as we have public account at union level, we have public account at the state level also. There are many state employees also in the Kerala, or fine, whose PF money is getting deducted, whose a lot of other funds, small saving funds, fine, money is being mobilized by the Kerala government, and that is with the government. So that is the public accounts in which there is a lot of money. Now that particular money is also being included, that particular pending is also being included into the NBC. So here the Kerala government says, Kerala government says this particular thing, that this is unfair. Fine, constitution does not give the power to the union to include these particular matters. Neither the finance commission has imposed it, neither the finance commission has imposed it, okay, or neither the constitution has imposed it. Moreover, Kerala also says this thing, that as per Kerala Fiscal Responsibility Act 2003, Kerala very progressively and successively has reduced their deficit also. For example, Kerala reduced their fiscal deficit to 3% by 25-26. They are achieving it. Also, it has been said that Kerala's fiscal deficit has reduced to actually 2.44%. Fine, and revenue deficit is just 0.88%. Fine, if in fact center's fiscal deficit is 5.8%. Fine, for 23-24. Compared to that, Kerala's basically deficits have come really down. So Kerala is already on the path of fiscal prudence. Kerala is the path of fiscal management, but center government is penalizing the Kerala government, and they say that deliberately it is being done because of the political differences that is there between Kerala and the union government. Now, for this particular matter, Kerala is now approaching the Supreme Court. So that is all, guys, about this particular article, and now we are going to discuss the next article. Now we are going to discuss the next article. Union government's reins on financial transfers to states. Now this particular article is also on the similar line, that is the fiscal disputes between the union and the state government. Now, what this particular article is talking about? This particular article is talking about Finance Commission and its recommendations that it has given with respect to the state finances. Now, let's understand this particular issue from the very start. When we talk about Finance Commission is constituted as per the Article 280 of the Constitution. President is empowered to constitute a finance commission which will recommend that how the money is to be shared between the union and the state. Also, it can suggest if any other grant is to be given by union to the state government. Now, when we talk about finance commission, basically 14th finance commission has always been said, has always been appreciated. Why? Because 14th finance commission has increased the allocation by union to state by 10%. Now understand this thing. Till 13th finance commission, 32% of the taxes were to be shared with the state government. But 14th commission increased this 32% to 42%. Increased this 32% to 42%. So there was a 10 percentage point clean increase that was there. 10 percentage point clean increase that was there. Okay. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about 15th finance commission, 15th finance commission has also retained it. So till 13th finance commission, 32% was given. 14th finance commission, it increased to 42%. 15th finance commission is 41%. Now it is not a reduction. 41% is not a reduction. Rather, if you know, a separate union territory of Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh was created. Now being a union territory, center government will spend money on that. So therefore, to account for Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, fine, this 1% was reduced. So effectively it is the same. So since 14th Finance Commission, this is something that has increased. But article is saying this particular thing, that actually money that is reaching to the state government has not increased that much. Actual money reaching to the state government has not increased that much. Now guys, you need to understand this particular thing, that there is the concept of gross tax receipts and the net tax revenue. Now when we talk about the net tax revenue, fine, this is in context of central government. So gross is total revenue that the center has received. What is net? In a net, it will, fine. So when we talk about gross, it includes the election cost, fine, cess, surcharge, taxes to be signed by union and territory. All it is included in gross. But when we make it net, collection cost is deducted. Fine. The cess and surcharge, it is deduced. Now, understand this particular thing, guys. When we talk about the cess and surcharge, for example, they are not shared with the state government. They are solely kept by the union. So basically, when you talk about gross, let's say gross is 100, but in that 100, cess and surcharge is also included. But when we talk about giving to the state, cess and surcharge will not be given to the state. So basically, net receipts that a state is receiving, it is very much less. Why it is very much less? Now you see this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the gross tax revenue for the union government, fine, for the union government, the share that the union government is getting, it increased from 14.6 lakh crore in 2015-16 to 33.6 lakh crore in 23-24. But when we talk about the state's share, it increased from 5.1 lakh crore to 10.2 lakh crore. So here if we see, it got doubled up. Here in the matter of state, it got doubled up. But here in the matter of the union, from 14 to 33, it is more than doubled up. Now when we talk about separate grants that is being given to the state, earlier they were 1.95 lakh crore rupees in 2015-16. Now they have come to 1.65 lakh crore rupees in 23-24. So grants for the state, it reduced. The money that is being given to the state, it has got doubled up, but for union, it is more than doubled up. Union government actually is getting more money than the state government. And now your question will come in your mind that why? So answer is very much simple. I told you earlier also, it is because of the cess. Now you see this particular thing. When we talk about the cess, now first of all, what is cess? Cess is a particular type of tax that is levied for a specific purpose. For example, Swachh Bharat cess. Swachh Bharat cess is applied for a particular purpose, that is Swachh Bharat mission. Cess money only stays with the central government. Surcharge is a tax on tax. Now you see this thing, cess and surcharge, its collection was just 85,000 crore rupees in 2015-16. But now their collection has increased to 3.63 lakh crore rupees in 23-24. So from 85,000 to 3.63 lakh crore rupees, and this particular money, where it is going to be? It is going to be with the union government. So by increasing the tax and cess again and again, central government is now getting more money. Now this particular cess does not include the GST compensation cess. Also, guys, understand this particular thing, that what has happened, state government are being burdened through the central sponsored schemes also. Now you see, there are two type of schemes. One is centrally sponsored schemes, and another are the central sector scheme. Now you see, centrally sponsored schemes are those schemes in which some money will be given by the state and the other money will be brought by the union, and usually the ratio is 50-50. In the case of the hilly states and the state with difficult terrain, ratio is different, but other states ratio is 50-50. Means if 100 rupee are to be used, 50 rupee will be given by union, 50 government will be brought by the state. Okay, now you see this particular thing. Between 2015-16 to 23-24, allocation for the central sponsored scheme increased from 2.04 lakh to 4.76 lakh crore rupees. There are 59 centrally sponsored schemes that are being run. Now, when government is giving union government is giving 100 rupee to state, it compels the state also to bring 100 rupees. Now, also understand this particular thing, that central sponsored schemes will be given to only those states who can bring the matching amount. Now, here what happens, a disparity comes between the wealthy and not so wealthy states. Wealthy states are able to bring the matching amount and they get a matching amount from the union. But not so wealthy states are not able to bring that amount. So basically, they will also not get the government's money. So here basically a kind of a disparity comes. So important aspect of CS is that the states that cannot afford to commit matching finances from the state budget cannot avail the matching grants. So here wealthy states are getting much more benefit. Also, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the central sponsored schemes, fine, they are the non-statutory transfers. Fine, they are not based on any legal provision. So here also it is the union government. If they want to continue, they will continue. Otherwise, nobody can compel them. Also, when we talk about the central sponsored schemes, there is one more problem, that they are a kind of a tied grant. What is the meaning of tied grant? That states are not free to use that money anywhere. They can use that particular money only where the center will tell them. So basically what is happening? The question that is coming here is that when we talk about the idea of federalism, union and states were supposed to be equal. But no, that equality is not there. Here we find that union is much more powerful in the matters of finances, and the state has just become an appendage. State has become just the subordinates of the union, which should be rectified. So this is the entire crux of this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Affluent among subcaste could be omitted from quota list, observes Supreme Court. Now, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, social justice and related issues. So basically guys, here is this particular matter that is going on from so many of the days, that is the subcategorization within the scheduled caste. So basically, many number of times people also say that when we talk about the scheduled caste, there are some communities within the scheduled caste who had got the benefit of reservation. Now they are selected as IAS, IPS officers. Now their children are still getting the reservation. But at the same time, within the scheduled caste, there are some other communities which are actually very much deprived. And there are certain communities which are getting the maximum benefit of scheduled caste. So there is a proposal that within the scheduled caste, there is a subcategorization that is to be done, and certain caste within the scheduled caste, they should be given more reservation. Certain caste within the scheduled caste, they should be removed out of the reservation and they should compete with the general classes candidates. Now, in this particular capacity, guys, what has happened? The Punjab government has opened the argument and saying that the states should be empowered to identify subcaste within the SC category and grant them more reservation on the ground that they are more marginalized and they need more reservation. Now, this particular issue has come that can we do that? Can we give some SC, some caste within SC more reservation, and can we exclude some caste within the SC? This particular matter is right now being discussed in the Supreme Court, and one of our judge has remarked this particular thing. That why affluent subcaste could not be excluded from the reservation list and why they cannot be made to compete with the general category. Now, one thing, guys, is that you should be mindful that this particular development is going on, but as of now, nothing final decision or concrete decision has come in this. So we'll see that how this particular matter will evolve. But right now, you should keep it in mind that this issue is there and such a proposal could be there. In your answers, you can reflect on it if answer is on reservation or social justice theme. So as of now, that is all about it. Moving to the next article. Cameroon adopted Nagoya Protocol. So guys, when we talk about the Cameroon is a country in Africa and Cameroon has adopted Nagoya Protocol. Now this Nagoya Protocol becomes very important for our prelims examination and particularly the environment section. So basically, what is the Nagoya Protocol? Nagoya Protocol is on access and benefit sharing. And Nagoya Protocol is a supplementary protocol under the Convention on Biological Diversity. Now, first we'll discuss Convention on Biological Diversity and then we'll go to the Nagoya Protocol. So basically, guys, when we talk about the Convention on Biological Diversity, this particular convention was opened up at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, or popularly called as the Earth Summit. So when we talk about Earth Summit that was held in 1992, three documents were come out of that. That is the UNFCCC, CBD Convention on Biological Diversity and Agenda 21. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the Convention on Biological Diversity, it has three objectives. Number one, conservation of biological diversity, genetic diversity, flora, fauna, conserve them. Second, sustainable use of biological diversity. If some plants, species are to be used for some greater good, they are to be used in a sustainable manner. And third is fair and equitable sharing of the benefit arising out of the utilization of genetic resources. Now guys, you see this particular thing, that actually what has happened, there are the indigenous people, Adivasi people, that have found out so many of the herbs, so many of the jadi booties, which have a lot of usage in modern medicine, which have usage in FMCG goods, which have usage in cosmetic industry. Now what actually is happening? Now the big pharmaceutical, big cosmetic companies, now they are coming and they are extracting all these particular resources. They are earning millions and millions of dollars, but are not sharing anything with the indigenous community. These are the indigenous community which found out the usages of these particular materials, but they are not getting any money. So basically, Nagoya Protocol was finalized in Japan in 2010. And this Nagoya Protocol obligated the states, that states have to ensure, the states have to ensure that there is the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising out of the utilization of the genetic resources. And in this capacity, indigenous communities specifically, they have to be compensated if on the basis of their knowledge, some company, some other enterprise is making the profit. So basically guys, when we talk about when we talk about the types of benefits, so basically, if there is some traditional knowledge, that is being used, the benefit has to be given. If genetic resources are being utilized, benefits have to be given to indigenous community. So this is the Nagoya Protocol. Now understand this thing, that under the CBD, actually there are the two protocols that have been signed. One is Nagoya Protocol, already we discussed, and other is the Cartagena Protocol on biosafety. Now Cartagena Protocol deals with the living modified organisms. So actually what is happening, many number of times, genetically modified organisms, living modified organisms are being experimented, they are being introduced for limited purposes. So they should not wipe out the native communities of flora and fauna. So that is the Cartagena Protocol. So Cartagena Protocol is on biosafety and Nagoya Protocol is the fair sharing of benefits. Okay. So Nagoya Protocol has now been signed by the Cameroon, which is a country in Africa. So therefore Nagoya Protocol CBD is important. Fine. Now moving on, and let's discuss the next article. Messinian Event. Messinian Event. Now guys, when we talk about the Messinian Event, now this has been in the news. First of all guys, let me show you something. Now you see here guys, you can see that we have the map of Mediterranean Sea. Okay, fine. Okay, here we have the map of the Mediterranean Sea. Now guys, you see this particular thing, that Mediterranean Sea, from here it is connected to the Atlantic. It is connected to the Atlantic. Fine. Now basically guys, Messinian Event, fine, for that just keep this particular thing in your mind. Okay. So basically guys, why, first of all, why Messinian Event is in news, we'll discuss. First of all, context. So what has happened, Israel has recently discovered the underwater canyon near the Cyprus, which dates back to the Messinian Event. So a canyon has been found underwater, and this canyon is from Messinian Event time. Now what is this Messinian Event? So basically guys, this Messinian Event, it is also called as the Messinian salinity crisis. So basically it was one geological development. What happened at one point of a time, the connection between the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea was cut off. It was cut off. Why it got cut off? Because African plate and European plate, they got connected. African plate and European plate, they got connected. So basically here, if you see this African plate, it got connected with the European plate, and because of that, this particular gap, it was completely filled, and therefore this Mediterranean Sea, it got disconnected from Atlantic Ocean. And over a period of time, what happened, water level here started to came down. And as water was coming down, salinity started to increase. And as salinity started to increase, it became impossible for marine life to thrive here. Entire marine life got entire marine life got wiped out from here, and water level came down so much that actually what happened, that's entire Mediterranean Sea got dried up. Entire Mediterranean Sea got dried up, and that particular event is called as the Messinian Event. So what is Messinian Event? Fine. Messinian event was a geological event during which the Mediterranean Sea went into a cycle of partial or complete drying up. It was the most severe ecological crisis in Earth's history. Why? Because entire marine life here got wiped up. So why it began? It began when the connection between the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean was cut off. Why? Because the African plate got collided with the European plate, and that opening that was there, it was completely blocked. What happened? Land also risen up. Okay, now guys, further, during this particular time, large canyons were formed, and there was a canyon that was even bigger than the Grand Canyon of US, and it has depth of 2000 meters. So this particular canyon now has been discovered. Now also halite and gypsum, these salts were these salts got deposited in Mediterranean, and sometimes these particular salt deposits were more than 800-meter deep, and because of this particular salinity, Mediterranean marine life got died. After that, however, guys, what happened? After that, guys, what happened? There was a very big flood, huge flood, that is a Zancalian flood that came. And because of this Zancalian flood, that blockage, it got broken away. It got broken away, and again, Mediterranean got connected with Atlantic. Mediterranean got connected with Atlantic. So this is the Messinian event that was in news. I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to the next article. The next, we have ABHYAS. We have ABHYAS. So basically, DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, they have completed the trial of ABHYAS. Now guys, what is ABHYAS? ABHYAS is High Speed Expendable Aerial Target. Now guys, see this particular thing, that DRDO is coming out with the anti-missile technologies. We are perfecting the technology that how to shoot down an enemy aircraft. So therefore, what we need to do? We need to have some kind of an aerial target on which we can practice how precise our missiles are. Can they hit precisely a target in the sky or not? Can they precisely hit a aircraft at a very high speed? Yes or no? So to mimic that particular target, this ABHYAS has been launched. It is High Speed Expendable Aerial Target. Fine. What this ABHYAS mimics? It mimics a realistic threat scenario, and for practicing the weaponry, this has been designed. And it will act as the platform for validation of armed forces equipment, that how precise the equipments are. For that, it will mimic as a aerial threat, it will be used. Fine. So this is something that has been there. Now when we talk about, guys, DRDO, it is headquartered in New Delhi, and it is India's largest research organization, and largely DRDO concerns with the research in the arena of the defense technologies. So that is about it. And now guys, there is one more article. Rajya Sabha passes bill to add PVTGs of Odisha, AP in state list. So basically, PVTG stands for particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now, basically what has happened, some of these particularly vulnerable tribal groups that have been identified, maximum number of PVTGs are in Odisha. Okay, some of these PVTGs, they have been added to the ST list, and for that, Rajya Sabha has cleared the Constitution Order Amendment Bill 2024 and the Constitution Order Amendment Bill 2024. These two bills have been cleared. Now, just we need to see that which PVTGs are being added. So basically, Bhuyan tribe, Bhunjia tribe, fine, Bondo tribe, and in Andhra Pradesh, fine, Bondo Porjo and Khond Porjo, fine, Porjo tribe, they have been added. So basically, these tribes have been added. However, guys, just keep it in your mind, because in prelims sometimes the question is asked that, okay, this tribe was in news, in which state it is found out. That is, beyond that, no need to go. Just few points you need to keep in mind, that PVTG stands for particularly vulnerable tribal group. These classification is given by Ministry of Home Affairs. There are 75 tribal groups that have been identified as PVTG. Okay, Odisha has maximum number of PVTGs. particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now, Sri Lankan opposition JVP leader meets Jaishankar Doval. So Sri Lanka's mapping we are going to see. Now guys, when we talk about the Sri Lanka, so here we have the map of Sri Lanka, and here we see that here we have Adams Peak, which is the high point in Sri Lanka. Now when we talk about Sri Lanka, guys, you know this particular thing that Sri Lanka, fine, between India and Sri Lanka, we have here the Ram Setu, and because of this Ram Setu, fine, the terrain here, or because of this Ram Setu, this particular tract, it is not navigable often because there are these stone formations that are there in between. Now, in mythologies, it is said that this Ram Setu was a connect. It was a connect that was created by the Lord Ram and Vanar Sena, find to reach the Sri Lanka, which or Lanka that was being ruled by the Ravan at that point of a time. Okay, and these remnants are from that particular period only. So basically, there is a Setu Samundram canal that is being proposed between the India and Sri Lanka. Now, these are some additional things. Why it is being proposed? So that the ships, they can navigate from here rather than taking this long route. So this Setu Samundram canal, if question comes, it is proposed between India and it is proposed between Sri Lanka. Then there is Kachativu Island also that you need to know about Sri Lanka. Kachativu Island, it is disputed between the India and the Sri Lanka. Okay. Now, guys, when we talk about the Kachativu Island, often you hear it in the news also. Fine. Now, second, guys, here if you see, there are some straits, park, certain water bodies that are there. You need to know their north to south orientation. So here, if you see, guys, in the northernmost we have Park Strait. Then after that, here we have the Park Bay. Here we have Gulf of Mannar. And then we have the Indian Ocean. So first we have Park Strait, then we have Park Bay, then here we have the Ram Setu, then here we have Gulf of Mannar, and there we have the Indian Ocean. Now, when we talk about India and Sri Lanka, so highest point, when you talk about Sri Lanka, the highest point in Sri Lanka is Pidur Talgala, fine. And as of Hindu mythology, a land bridge existed between Indian mainland and Sri Lanka. Now guys, when we talk about India and Sri Lanka, they are the partners in many high level bodies, that is Indian Ocean Rim Association, BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Also, Sri Lanka is important part of India's neighborhood first policy, and Sagar Vision. Fine. Major disputes between India and Sri Lanka is a fisherman issue. Okay, the issue as the Sri Lanka often has shifted its loyalty towards the China. Major ports are Hambantota Port and Matala Port. Okay, so Kachativu Island, it is in Park Strait, disputed territory between India and Sri Lanka. Fine. Mitra Shakti. Fine, it is a joint military exercise. Silinex is an exercise taken between India and Sri Lanka. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Guys, we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.